She spent years in the real-life world of Vogue magazine. Now Caroline Palmer is jumping into fiction by pulling back the curtain. In her debut novel, Workhorse, Palmer revisits the early 2000s world of fashion magazines through the eyes of a young assistant who's navigating ambition and privilege and power in a pre-digital era. In the book, Palmer writes, "When your name is not on the masthead, the workday begins earlier than it does for the other girls. There is no one to tell you this, of course, no official orientation, but the right kind of girl can sense it, like you can sense the weight in a yellowing sky." Caroline joins us now. Good to have you in this morning.
Amazing to be here.
This is very relatable for a lot of young women and men who aspire to be part of the fashion business.
Yes, especially in that time, I think, the early 2000s, when it was sort of at its last apex. I feel like it was like the last moment that industry was sort of at its height in this city.
Yeah, it would be people who grew up in New York and always saw the industry, or somebody who had only seen the industry because they were in, Iowa reading their copy of September Vogue.
Yeah, well, New York is a city that loves media and magazines and publishing. It was sort of, LA has celebrities, we had the media and the fashion magazine publishing world.
There were so many relatable New York City scenes. The city is basically a character in and of itself, but I love when Chloe, for example, the main character, when she's changing her shoes into like the two pointy high heels before she goes in. Like, we've all done that dance at some point.
All done that. And you just hope your foot doesn't hit the concrete. You're like, oh, please just don't hit the concrete. But you get good at it, it's a skill.
And let nobody else see me like striving to be this person that I might necessarily not be.
Right. Like don't do the shoe flip like right on the in front of
right in front of the building.
You have to find an alley.
Okay, so the title's up here behind us, Workhorse. You get into this notion of who is a workhorse and who is a slow horse in the office. Take me through that. What do you mean by that?
Well, I think, I've been trying to, I lay this out so succinctly in like 18 pages in the book, but, but I think one of the things, the difference is a little bit like workhorses show horses have things, and workhorses either have to buy things or strive for things is sort of a key difference. And I wanted to look at sort of the delta in the kind of the 1% is actually much bigger than I think we acknowledge in fiction. Normally we see the rich versus the poor, as opposed to how deep the distinctions can be between workhorses and show horses. So, workhorses are born into privilege. It doesn't mean they're not working, but they're just born into having more than having to acquire. And I think that was sort of the key difference between our characters.
We've all done that, right? You kind of look, you scan the people in the office and you're like, who's doing the thing?
Right. So some people worked harder for it than others.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
But it's also part of that, like you have to have both to kind of make a system like that work.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what about all the nostalgia right now? The Graydon Carter book, the Michael Grinbaum book, like there's so much looking at that heyday of town cars, expense accounts.
Because you never know it's the heyday in the moment.
Oh, no.
No.
I think we all just miss smoking indoors. I think that is really the crux of all of this. No, I was so young when I had things like town cars and dinners paid for, and beautiful, right? Again, Jesus. So I don't think we understood that, in that time period, being so young, I would never lived in New York before. Things like going to the theater, going to a great restaurant, meeting interesting people, going to parties. It was
getting a reservation by just walking in rather than having to be on an app 4 months ahead of time.
Yeah, it was just, and again, to your point, like I didn't realize what a special time it was. And partially you're young and you're more open to those experiences, but partially it was pre-cell phones. It was pre-documenting everything. There's no records of, everything we were doing in a great way. But I do think, I have a young daughter and her favorite show is Friends. And sometimes I think that there's this nostalgia for this sort of period of time that's been lost to us.
Good to have you in this morning. Congratulations
on the book. Thank you so much for having me.
Again, the book is called Workhorse. Caroline's novel is available now at bookstores across the city. Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. For more stories in your communities, click the subscribe button right here. You can also download our app or watch us on TV for the latest news and weather updates every 10 minutes and more. We'll see you then.